How about I just taped a whole ass live for 45 minutes and didn't know I was on mute? If you've ever been a content creator, you understand. Now I gotta get back comfortable. Okay, anyways. Thank you guys for stopping by Chanel's Reality. Like I said, I'm Chanel and this is my reality. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. It's a free and easy way to support my channel. But listen, I want to get into what in the hell is going on with Beyonce. Is it just me or okay, listen. Let me say this first. Everything on Chanel's Reality is in my opinion and it's for entertainment purposes only. Okay? Let's start there. Um, and it's all alleged. So I feel like Beyonce is somewhere pissed. She's somewhere like, Jay, come to the front. I know that's just, I have to know. I have to, oh shit. I have to believe. Sorry, y'all. I'm not in my house. This damn bed is weird. Okay, sorry. But I have to believe that Beyonce somewhere right now, like, you got me fucked up. Like, you got me all the way fucked up. Like, fucked up, fucked up. I just do believe that. I believe that she has prided herself on being that bitch. Because I really don't think Beyonce, even though she's a superstar and pretty much Beyonce, Rihanna, and Kim Kardashian are three people that everybody knows. It just is what it is. So we all know who she is, but she has a very specific way that she delivers whatever her message is to the world. She has a very specific way of doing that, and that is through her music. Okay, and so she ain't come to the Grammys. Am I getting a Grammy? If not, then bitches, listen. Is my daughter also getting one? Ivy, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. Ivy Park, yeah. Uh-huh. Blue Ivy? She not getting one? Okay, then bitch, we ain't coming. Like I feel like that's how Beyonce operates at this point. I've never believed Beyonce was this super cerebral, methodical human being. But I do think she is talented. I do think she is got a banging body. I wish I'm just saying. Who wouldn't want to have it like, yeah. What did Beyonce say in that 50 Cent remix? She's a something with the Marilyn Monroe body or something like that, she said, child. Whatever. I just do feel like she's somewhere like, you better fix this shit. Like, I feel like she's sitting on ready. I feel like Beyonce is low key Solange times 100. Remember that elevator situation? Beyonce was like, beat his ass. Like, I'm just saying, you know, he really fucked up. If his wife ain't even trying to stop it, she ain't moved. She just until old girl almost kicked him. I mean, kicked her, I think, and then she kind of like was like, let's just. But anyway, I think Beyonce is gonna. There's two things. I think she's pissed because I do think, even though I said I don't think she's very cerebral or very methodical about things, I will give her this. She probably has a PhD in everything entertainment, money, revenue, profiting from her gifts. She's a PhD in that. Absolutely. She uses the public the way she uses the public and really does it like no other, in my opinion. And I'm not in the beehive. So she gonna get exactly what I think. That's what y'all gonna get. It is what it is. It's just how I roll. I'm not a fake and phony person. I can be cordial. I can't be phony. Doesn't work for me. So I think Beyonce has probably been plotting her Cowboy Carter, let's go break the internet for the 15th time debut. And Jay-Z over here fucking up because now some of the roosters have come home to, or what is it? The chickens have come home to roost. Is that how it goes? I don't know. And his past is seemingly catching up to him. That's what I think. And I think she's pissed about it because I think Beyonce feels like I had this all planned out. Because think about it. She at whatever that award show and she got her whole little Louis Vuitton fit with her cowboy hat. Like, I ain't mad at B. Like, it's very, like I said, it's very methodical. I don't think she's very methodical, But I think she has lots of people around her that's like, let's go get it, and this is how we're gonna do it. So her stylist and all those people, they already had this shit already planned, in my opinion. I don't know, Beyonce, I wasn't there. But in my opinion, they already had this shit planned. Right? It's a year or two in advance. Beyonce lived just dropping shit. Did she say Nicki? What's that song she did with Nicki Minaj? Oh God, I forget the name of that song she did. But the point where she was like, "World, stop, carry on." That part, I remember where I was too when that happened. I was like, "This bitch is she doing it, and I ain't even mad at her. I'm not in the beehive. I don't worship other people. It's just she doesn't do that. But I could give credit where credit is due, and I think Beyonce is pissed because she probably thought I'm gonna go and sweep. Okay, I'm going to sweep the Country Music Awards. You bitches bow down. Like I feel like that's what Beyonce. And honestly, to me, it's a really smart idea. She's from the Lone Star State. You know, she's from my city. We put on for my city of Houston, Texas. She always, I feel like, gives loves and shout outs every album. So I'd be like, yes. As much as she ain't my favorite, whatever, I'm not gonna knock that sis understands the assignment. And she's only gonna talk about her woes and her, whatever it is that she's going through in music. So that way she could have some level of deniability. That way she could just kind of be like, oh no, that was somebody else wrote that song, or I just added something to it. This doesn't have anything to do with my life. But if you go and listen to all of Beyonce's albums, every album talking about her life. Her first debut album was Dangerously in Love. Was she not dangerously in love with this digger over here? Of course she was, right? So she's always talking about what's going on in the world or in her life through her music, in my opinion. Why y'all think she wrote Survivor? That shit was going on in her life and she felt that it was unfair. I did too, and still do. Because why is the world mad at me? Because my manager made the decision, to whatever it is. He didn't want to change his contract. He didn't want to change whatever it was those other group members on. He didn't want to do it. How is that my fault? It's not her fault. But I'm sure he was going to do what was in the best interest of his daughter, which what person wouldn't? Nepotism exists for a reason. So, of course, that's what he was doing. Plus, he was like, you ain't stopping shit over here. Matthew was like, you ain't stopping shit over here. You ain't stopping shit over here. So, for the longest time, I used to be like, I remember I was in, where was I? St. Louis one year. They're kind of like on a business trip or whatever. And I remember a lot of the people that I was working with, they were much older than me. So I'm probably like 23. And most of those people was like 53. Right. But I remember riding in the vehicle either to the airport or from the airport or something like that. And I don't know how Beyonce became the topic. I don't even know why that happened, but it did. And I remember these older people being like, well, Matthew, he just sold his daughter and made her into this whole sex kitten. And I was just like, because I'm the same age as Beyonce, I'm just like, what did she do? I don't think he sold his daughter. Like, I didn't want to believe that. But now that you kind of go back and you look at how she pivoted from her dad to another man. And I'm not saying she did it wrong. Listen, pivot me over here to these billions of dollars and whatever it is that she wanted. I think that she was like planning on sweeping the Country Music Awards and whatever, and going on her next tour, which I think was supposed to already start. But after those rape charges came out of that 13-year-old and that lawsuit and all that, Beyonce is listen on her own shit, like to the left. Everything you own in the box to the left, okay? Move the fuck out our $88 million house with 13 underground, whatever it is they got going on over there at the Carter House, because I don't know. But she does that. Just like she said, what did she say in that one song? She said, I took some time to live my life, but don't think I'm just his little wife. Don't forget it. This my shit. Bow down, bitches. Bow down, bitches. Oh, hey, Coach That's the way you ain't supposed to go from the father to the husband. It is what it is. Um, but at the time, because like I said, me and Beyonce are the same age, so at the time, I'm like, I'm not really understanding why y'all are trying to make this be about this transfer of power and he sold his daughter and her sexuality and all that. I wasn't feeling it back then because Survivor was a popping album, and then she went over here and did the Dangerously in Love album. Hugely successful, hugely, massively successful. And so to me, she understood the assignment, but I just don't know that she realized then she was being played. And maybe she did, but maybe she wanted to be played in the sense of like, he's gonna take me to the next level. I don't necessarily believe that Beyonce believed that personally, but clearly that's what people have been telling her behind the scenes, or she's been hearing people chirping year after year, because then she goes into this song, like I said, don't think that I'm just his little wife. Why do you are Beyonce? Why do you need to make this announcement that you're a diva? And don't fucking forget it. You're making these type of, in my opinion, assertions through your music for two reasons. One, so if anybody ever says anything, she could just have deniability of like, no, other people wrote, I just co-wrote, and this wasn't about my life, and blah blah blah. Whatever, however she want to spin it. Beyonce, to me, her album, each album is like art imitating life. I just don't think the daddy, I could be wrong about this. I just don't think Matthew knows who, what is Matthew knows, like 82? Still running around the earth busting it wide open? Anyway, I do believe to some extent that the dad probably felt very confident that if I put you over here, I'm in good hands. I mean, she's in good hands because he's a megastar, at least compared to where Beyonce was when she was 19, when they supposedly just started dating at 19. If you believe that, I got a whole ass Sierra desert in the middle of Texas to sell to you. Because, like, no. He has a track record of liking them younger. That's his track record. He also has a track record of not being the most above board human being. But knowing what we know now, what we've learned about Diddy, is kind of like, as much as I always kind of knew, it's a dirty business type thing, I didn't know it was this savage. I just wasn't aware. And it's also, too, probably because that's not a big part of my life. So, celebrities don't make me go buy perfume or makeup or whatever the fuck it is that they're selling. Because to me, if you want my attention and my, whatever, admiration, do something for humanity. I don't give a fuck about you making, like, but that's just me. Sidebar. So I believe Beyonce is over there like pissed because she performed in Houston at the Reliance Stadium Christmas Day, I believe it was, when we were playing a playoff game. I can't remember. And we lost, and I was pissed because every game that I go to, Houston Rockets, Astros, or the Texans, every game I've ever been to, we always win. So I'm there, good luck charm in my mind. I told y'all, listen, I was royalty in my, and I had to be royalty. Had to be in my other life because it just comes so natural. Just saying. No, but I do think she had a plan. Her team had a plan. And she has to stop everything. Because now it's like, well, can we do it now? Or would it be better for us to wait and let it die down and da-da-da-da-da? And she doesn't want to get caught up, in my opinion, in the winds of whatever her husband has been partaking in. She doesn't want that to ruin her chances or her, whatever it was she wanted to be, her legacy. And I get that. But as a person who's been married for almost 20 years, I find it almost impossible to not know who the hell you sleeping with. You learn people's ways. You learn what makes them mad, what makes them smile through a relationship. So I have a hard time believing that either A, she's not or has not partaken in whatever it is that him and his bestie, little shitty ditty was doing for all of those years. I'm not saying that I know that for sure, because there's people on this earth that were married to serial killers, and the serial killer husband is a whole deacon and a third and fourth Sunday pastor and a Boy Scout leader. Meanwhile, he got 20 bodies. So, do I think it's possible? It's possible. Do I think it's likely? No. And the reason I don't think it's likely, outside of just knowing your husband, you work in an industry, and everybody that has been brave enough to say something is saying, I've been hearing that shit about Diddy. Oh, we already knew that was about Jay-Z was like that. So I find it hard to believe she wouldn't know. But if I'm her, I listen. I know Beyonce, like, I got all these Cowboy Carter outfits that I can't wear now. So this is the thing, though, that the most perplexing thing to me is like us normal people that will never see, $20 million in our bank account or 15 million or whatever it is, maybe no M's ever. I think it's difficult when people say, "Oh, Jay Z's gonna get taken down and then he'll be broke," or Diddy's been taken down and he's gonna be broke. I definitely believe that people that don't have millions of dollars, we find that hard to believe that this man who's supposedly a half a billionaire or a billionaire or something like that could possibly run out of money. But businesses go out of what is it called? Business all the time. Look at how many businesses died and crashed that have been around forever just because COVID happened. So the shit is possible. And I'm thinking to myself with Diddy, I'm like, I didn't even know this man was a billionaire or whatever he allegedly is a billionaire. And I don't even think that the lawsuits that he's facing are gonna drain his pockets more than the attorneys, the blood sucking attorneys that are just kind of like, we the best of the best and we can get you off and this, that, and the third. And because he's still stuck there, I'm certain whatever number they write down, he's just like, you can have it. Just get me the fuck out of here. So I say that to say this. Even though I believe Beyonce somewhere pissed about it, I'm just kind of like, why do you care? Or why would you have to do this next whatever it is? You already famous, one of the most famous people in the whole wide world, most recognizable person for the most part on the planet, besides like Kim Kardashian and maybe Prince and Donald Trump crazy ass. Okay. Um, why would that be such a devastation to you? Unless I guess maybe
Have I been out here this whole
what
time?
what the fuck is happening?
Okay, I hope it's not
Trying
all y'all.
this thing just started talking. It's creepy. Anyways, oh god, I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, so it's kind of like, why would you be afraid or pissed that now you don't have to go put in all this work? I personally think the reason she's pissed is less about whatever her husband did and more about how it impacts her and her children. Because you already got all the money, sis. You already got all the fame, the notoriety, the queen, you can't do nothing wrong. So what else do you need? The only thing I can think of is if this was her life goal to have whatever it is, and now that seemingly, taking hold to something she didn't realize was going to happen, and now everything she planned and her team planned, it's slipping away in a weird way. I'm sure that's what she's thinking. And she's just like, why are you putting me in? Look at what you're doing to us. This is a family. I trusted you. I'm sure that's how she feels. And I don't know her. I don't know none of these people. I wasn't there. So it's all alleged. But in my mind, as a wife, as somebody who's, been in a relationship for 20 years with my husband, I'm pissed. Listen, I ain't got millions of dollars. I ain't got $1 billion on the elevator, but I do have, a state license that I worked very hard for, studied very hard for, which allows me to be a professional therapist, which is not something I initially went to college for. But I was like, look, I love people and I love to help people. But the way these systems are set up for people who want to do good in the world, like social workers and teachers, they want us to stay broke. They want us to be the working broke. And Chanel ain't, I ain't trying to have it. Okay. I like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, I like all of the things. So, I went back to school and started over. But at the end of the day, I could see that part being really angry about it. Cause it's like, You snuffed out my dream of this was going to be on the, next 20 years of my career, and you done fucked it up. And now our daughter, who's a part of the Lion King, she can't have her own spotlight day because now you're being accused of rape. A 13-year-old, someone who's 1 year younger than your daughter, or older rather. So she pissed. But I will say this: for the very longest, I've been saying for a while. I'm like, hold on one second. I'm like, listen, let that ninja go. But I think there's this paralyzing fear that if that happens, and I'm not saying you don't have to be Beyonce to have the same feeling. I think anyone who truly wanted to be married and love their spouse have a fear of somehow that being destroyed and it being, changing your life, the life you wanted to make for your kids and yourself. And now you got to answer all the questions. Why this, why that? And it's nobody's fucking business. If we just be keeping it a book, it's really not these people's business. But on some level, you feel some level of fear or shame that it didn't work out and whatever else. So I think that's probably why Beyonce's so quiet. And I also think that's why she's going to stay with him. You know, I always say, if my husband try to leave me, I'm going with him. Where we moving to? Oh, you got a new wife? You got a new girlfriend? Well, tell her, just let her know I'm moving on in with y'all. Like, I ain't playing them type of games. But I do, all jokes aside, I do think that Beyonce, that's part of it. She has like this perfect little picture that she's painted for her followers, her, fans, her parent, whatever it is, of this is who she is. But that perfect world that she's convinced other people or they've convinced other people, those types of things, when you say, oh, we're going to be there forever, you immediately are tying a noose around your neck or some sort of, chain or something behind your neck because people are sitting on ready to say, I told you not to mess with that motherfucker. I told you he wasn't right for you. I knew she wasn't, she was going to get a divorce. She didn't like him anyway. She wasn't, fucking and sucking him good enough. Like, whatever it is that society does. So people, whether they want to admit it or not, have that as a fear. And I think their empire is about to start crumbling. I really do. And sidebar, I don't know how to feel about the Jane Doe who dropped the lawsuit. It's almost as if because remember, Jay-Z was doing something completely uncharacteristic of him, according to people like Dame Dash, which is responding to the bullshit. Him and Beyonce are experts in not responding to the bullshit. Like, just, you're a fly. Leave me fucking alone. Like, I don't even have to, honor anything with an explanation of why of anything. I don't have to do that. And so you become ego driven and cocky. And I think it's one or two things. Either somebody got to that young lady and scared her or convinced her that thank you. Convinced her that, hold on guys. Now I lost my damn train of thought. I was saying convinced her, it'll come back to me at some point. But I think that she's pissed. And she should be. But listen, she's probably a lot more than pissed if I think about it, because your fuckery is now splashing onto me. And it's no way to get out of it. Because once someone accuses you of the R word or rape or whatever, that's hard to break. especially if you got hundreds of millions of people looking at you crazy. And the reason that it's believable, I'm not saying he did it, but the reason it's believable is because of all of the shenanigans he was doing early in his career. You know, whatever he was doing with Foxy Brown, which we all know he was dicking her down or something was going on, right? They swear, you know, Beyonce and Jay-Z swear, well, you know, we started dating when I was 19. Lies. I don't believe that for a second. And if you believe it, hey, listen, you have the right to believe whatever you want to believe. But if you believe that, I got a whole ass Sahara Desert to sell you in the middle of Houston, Texas. It's just like, come on. The other thing too is like, if you've been in a long term relationship or marriage, you're gonna know how your partner or whomever, how they live, what they do, what their responses are when they get angry or frustrated, whatever it is. So I have a hard time believing that Beyonce didn't know anything about anything, especially if she was at the white parties or, you know, in cahoots with P. Diddy. I have a hard time believing she knew nothing. And even if she didn't physically see it herself, the people that have come out, not necessarily truly extremely vocal about what their thing is, that they believe that he did it or not, they're coming out and basically saying, well, we already knew this shit. We've been knew this shit. So I have a hard time believing that if the industry people have been knowing this, that nobody mentioned it to Beyonce. Fuck out of here. Of course they did. And if you're not in that type of world and someone is saying your husband participated in this or that or whatever, if you love your husband, if you cared about him, and even if you hated his ass, you're probably going to do a little bit of, you know, female investigations. Season 19. You are. You want to verify what someone is saying about your husband. That's one. And then two, if there's some level of evidence that now his seemingly bestie has done all this horrific shit, I'm looking at your ass crazy. And he's friends with R. Kelly and all these people, Weinstein, Epstein, all these people that have all been accused of sexual assault. How do you get around that as his wife? But, you know, some people can, you know, convince you that, listen, if the police can, you know, convince people that they killed their parents and they never did, they weren't even there. And just so they get out, they, you know, change their opinion. They're like, yeah, I did it. If the police can get you to do that just by holding you hostage in a little small room for 22 hours, if they can convince you to admit to something you didn't actually do, I'm certain that Jay-Z can get people he could get Beyonce to believe. No, they just like, you know how it is in the industry type thing. People just like to talk. And because you're an industry person and people have talked about you and criticized you, you're like, okay, I understand it. So that's what I was saying. I just don't believe she didn't know anything. I don't. The facade, though, is catching up to Jay-Z. But back to the Jane Doe accuser. I think one or three things have happened. Either A, she was always lying. That's a possibility. And she got her little attorney that was like, oh, we're going to get you $5 million or whatever it would have been. So that's one. And then two, none of it happened. Well, maybe not that, because that was really number one. So the other thing could be that someone got to her and her family and was just like threatening them, or maybe paid them off. And so now, but I have a hard time believing that, even if that may have been a reason, because of the statement that Jay-Z, you know, wrote out on whatever platform he rolled it out. And, you know, he was accusing Busby of all these different things. And I know what type of ambulance chaser person you are, blah, 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 blah. So I think the fact that he said that out of the gate, because I kept thinking, Jay-Z just stepped into the deep part of the pool and don't even realize it with no life jacket. So but he was so sure of it, right? In that messaging, he was so sure you're gonna go down and blah 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 blah. So now that that case has been, you know, I guess dismissed, or she recanted her story, it does make me think that he already knew that was gonna happen. Someone already promised him, "Oh, we're gonna take care of whatever's going on over there." And the other part too is like the Jane Doe's dad was like, "Oh, I don't remember that happening." There's a million reasons for me to be like, fuck out of here. Because if you have a child, a young child, much less a teenage child, saying, calling you in the middle of the night or whenever it was, saying, I was, raped by these people, blah, 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 blah. I have a hard time believing that that shit is not imprinted in your brain. Raise your hand if your daughter came or your son came home and was like, I was raped by these people. And then you stay absolutely silent. And then when it's brought up and your daughter is trying to sue him, you undermine her. And it's like, I don't remember that. Of course you remember it. Of course you remember it. And I'm not saying he remembers it like she's true or lying, whatever she's saying is truthful, or if she's lying. I'm saying that any normal, loving parent would not get on TV after your daughter has filed this lawsuit and say, or wherever he, did it. Well, I don't recall that. So either somebody paid her somewhere or they threatened her. Something happened, or she could have just been lying. But I never thought that this was going to be the thing that took Jay-Z down. I think I always thought, okay, that's really crazy. And maybe it starts to kind of move the needle in a direction where it's not favorable to Jay-Z. But Jay-Z came out of the closet and did something that's typically, from what Dame Dash said, is not his thing. He doesn't respond. Beyonce and Jay-Z have an ironclad. We ain't responding to shit, and we don't give a fuck because we Beyonce and Jay-Z. And now what? I firmly believe that. You know what I'm saying? So when they start addressing people publicly like that, it makes me wonder. It's like, and obviously one would want to vocally speak about some egregious attack on you, and by extension your family, right? You would want to say something. But if it's so uncharacteristic of you, that makes me believe then some part of it is true. Maybe not this particular story, but there is one. And his track record doesn't show him as being the most above board person. And then he's associated with so many people who've all been accused of the same shit he's been accused of. Mainly Shitty Diddy, R. Kelly, Epstein, Weinstein. So I think Jay-Z is still going down, and I think Beyonce somewhere raising hell, because she didn't miss out on her whole ass country music award. She's supposed to come up there and sweep all of them. Taylor Swift and who. Beyonce was supposed to go up to the CMAs and just body everybody in her way, or even in her space. And those people worked on her outfits all the year, or however long it took for them to be like, this is the plan. And she has all these, things that are going to happen on her tour. And now all of that shit got to be rethought, because my husband is in the middle of a whole ass lawsuit that is worldwide. Everybody watching. And now he ruining my daughter's, beautiful debut to the Lion King. So I don't know. A lot of people like Beyonce on drugs. I don't necessarily believe that, but it's possible. Because why would you blindly follow someone who has that type of background? Unless you also have that type of background or think like that. Listen, if somebody came to me and was like, your husband raped me and blah 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 blah, we're gonna have two whole ass problems, publicly and privately, which is what the fuck. Because he's my husband and we've been together for 20 years, I'm at least giving him the benefit of the doubt, because nothing about him says that. I've never heard anything like that or even suspected it. But if you're Beyonce and you know all the fuckery that Diddy gets into or has gotten into, and you also know you're married to someone who's extremely close with him, your husband, Jay Z, I have a hard time believing you knew nothing. You're going to be investigating like any insecure person would. Just saying. So now she got to rearrange shit. And it's not a fire that they can extinguish simply by, where they are and their accomplishments in life. So I do think somebody got to her, or she was just lying out of the gate. But I think more is going to come up around Jay Z. I think way more people are going to come to the front and be like, yeah. But he did tell Busby, look, I know exactly what type of person you are. I'm coming for you. And Busby, meanwhile, on stage talking about, I've been threatened before. I don't give a fuck what you do. Busby told Jay Z, please go change your tampon. Oh, I can't take it. I feel bad on some level. I feel the worst for her children. And I do feel bad for her because I think had she never done whatever with him, she probably is a decent human being. But like Coach Ferg said, birds of a feather flock together. And you don't know nothing. But I do feel bad for her because if both parents get dragged into court and are exposed, that's going to impact their family. Mainly their kids and stuff, and their opportunities that they're going to either have or not have. But I do think Beyonce got super power strength to be able to not say shit while you going through the absolute most with your husband. You have to have an immense amount of restraint to not respond when your husband's being accused of such a heinous crime. Wouldn't that be the first thing the wife would do? Or the loved one would do? Make sure everybody knows this shit is false. But I do think they live in an elitist world that most of us will never experience. So if my boy Diddy, Shitty Diddy, has been doing it for 30 years or 25 years and never got caught. Because remember he said, what did he say? I can show y'all, I can teach y'all how to have fun and stay out of jail. He told us. He told us. And they believed him. And I think both of their powers, this is kind of like a wake up call for Jay-Z. Because his buddy wouldn't woke over there. He like, try me. I'm gonna go fly around. Like, it's not looking good for him. But I wonder, do you guys think that Diddy is like feeling played by Jay-Z? Do you think he's pissed about his attorney going out there and trying to gaslight the whole world and say, oh, Jay-Z and Diddy, he didn't have anything to do with that. They're not really friends. They just see each other at parties and stuff like that. I don't go to parties with, pedophiles. So, and there's a chance he didn't know, but I do believe that he knew. And even if he, like I said before, didn't see it with his own eyes, enough of those people in that industry tell you that's what's going on or has been going on, you're going to start to believe it. But just know Beyonce is not going to tell us anything. If she does, it's going to be in a subliminal message inside of her next album. What did she say from the beginning? I'm a survivor. First time she got, drove into the ground unfairly. Then when she was doing whatever with Jay-Z, suddenly, I'm dangerously in love. That's what I'm saying. It's like she does everything through her music. She tried to dispel the Illuminati thing. What she say? Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess. Shots fired. And the irony of that her life is in limbo right now. And I'm not a person that dances on people's, downfall. That doesn't make me feel better about who I am or whatever. I just don't like kicking people when they're down. But sometimes, I take exception. I take exception when it comes to rape or murder. I take exception. So I don't know why she hasn't said anything. She could control the whole ass narrative if she wanted to. She can choose whoever she wants to give her story to. But for some reason, she's not doing that. I don't know if it's because she's in on it or because she's trying to protect her children. But this isn't a situation she could protect them from. Because Blue Ivy is what, 12 or 13? She was born into absolute affluence and wealth. And access to the internet on the phone, on the computer, on her friend's phone, whatever. So she knows. And she's probably coming home crying if she's not like in private school or something like that, or homeschool. Talking about what the fuck. And then that other guy sitting on Jay-Z's neck too. He's like, you my daddy. And all the bodies he had. Well, that's Diddy really. That has all, well, I don't know. They all might have bodies because listen, Jay-Z, no, Kanye went on that little stage and was like, what do you say? Jay-Z, call me, brother. I know you got killers. Don't send them in my head. Just saying. People were saying things. Okay. I'm going to get off of here because I'm so tired. And I got to get some rest so I can be my best tomorrow. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments about this whole scenario. And do you think other people are going to come out against Jay-Z? Do you think Diddy's going to get out of jail anytime soon? Do you think that he was pissed when Jay-Z's lawyer was like, he don't really know him like that? That has to be crushing, so crushing to a person that narcissistic and that seeks out attention, being rejected. Probably a recipe for disaster. But anyways, guys, y'all, like I said, thank you for joining me on another episode of Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Shout out to all the people that support my channel. I really appreciate you guys. Much love. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button. If you're returning, hey, boo, hey. Love all my people. Y'all have a good rest of your evening. I'm definitely going to go to sleep and mind my business at this point because I've been on this internet not minding my business. And leave Beyonce alone, child. Y'all keep on coming at Beyonce and her Beyonce internet. Like, what are y'all doing? No, all jokes aside, I do wish them the absolute best, unless Jay-Z has done what I think he's done. And I think he's done way more than he'll ever be accused of. So there's that. But again, talk to you guys later. Hit that like button. It's a free and easy way to support my channel. Good night. Bye, guys. Let's see. What Beyonce? Stop the track. Let me state facts. I told you, give me a minute and I'll be right back. I told you she'd be talking through her songs. Anyway, bye, guys.